to talk about Google Chrome search tips and some Chrome extensions that I like to use in my classroom. I'm going to start out with some search tips. My favorite one is to use quotations. If I'm looking for a specific phrase, I just put that in quotations to make sure that all of my results have that exact phrase. So I'm looking for the US House of Representatives, I put that in quotes, and I only get those results. If I want to exclude a term, I use the negative or the minus symbol, and that makes sure that that term will not show up in my results. So if I don't want anything about the Senate, I put minus Senate, and it does not show up. I also like to do math in the search box. I find myself doing this more often than I would realize. If I'm trying to figure out a grade or do a tip, I just type in my math problem and the Google search will do it for me. And then when it's done, it will actually show up with a calculator. So I didn't have to search for a calculator on my computer. I can just use Google, which is very convenient. Three Chrome extensions that I like to use in my classroom include MyBib, Grammarly, and Bitmoji. So MyBib is a really nice Chrome extension. So if students are out looking for current events, or in our case, we're talking about the Senate and congressional committees and what they do and what their job is, and we talked about this meeting of social media. If they wanted to cite this source, they would just have to click on MyBib Chrome extension, and they can check and change style if they need to. But here, the citation's done for them, and they would just have to click to copy it, and they can put it onto their Google Doc or whatever they're using. They could also save it to a project so they could use it later. Very convenient, very easy, and a huge time saver for my students. The next extension is Google or Grammarly. And I find my students have a lot of trouble with grammar, punctuation, and spelling, and they will turn in an assignment that looks like this with all these red dots or lines, and they don't realize that Grammarly is actually giving them suggestions of how to make their writing better. So I could go in, and this is one of my students, they did an Earth Day writing about Earth Day, and I can go in and suggest I can just fix these for them because they didn't have they don't know to put that. Um, I can change that, and I can add all of these things to allow them to fix any of their things. And if I wasn't suggesting and I was writing this on my own, I can go in and change my things as well to make sure that my writing is correct. It even gives them some grammar suggestions, like here, to improve their grammar, they're writing, instead of saying major, maybe say central or primary. And it just helps them to see that they can use different words than what they have written down. And the last one is Bitmoji. So I like to use Bitmoji occasionally with the students. I think this is really good for elementary teachers, but middle school kids like it as well. So you create your little avatar and it can look like you, and then you can use the Chrome extension to find something that you want. So if I wanted to say like good try, we didn't get it. Well, let's try good job. So here, uh, kind of like the seal here. So I can right click this, the copy the image, and then I can go and add this to my slideshow, or if I wanted to add it to a student's assignment to show that I'm praising them, I could do that. I also did a virtual classroom. So this was more useful to me than the stickers, but created my avatar, and then around my classroom, students can click on different things to look at YouTube videos, go to sites to learn more about some of the endangered species, and I did a motivational picture. I also linked to our online textbook, YouTube, Google Classroom, sites. This is my website that I created for the class, so my students could see the website that I created. And I also linked this is the night parrot. I linked this to Google Arts and Culture that they can go and explore all about this endangered parrot from Australia, or actually New Zealand. And this one does not fly. So it's an interesting bird. And so you could make a little virtual classroom that students can explore to learn more about the unit that you're studying. In this case, we're doing Australia and the Pacific, or they can learn more about, they can have games to play, whatever you want them to do for your virtual classroom. It's really it's as creative as you want to be. So there are 3 Chrome extensions that I like to use for my students: MyBib, Grammarly, and Bitmoji.